The world of Formula One is currently echoing with the deafening celebrations of Lando Norris's 2025 World Championship. In Woking, the Papaya flags are flying higher than ever, marking the end of a long, painful drought. But on the other side of the McLaren garage, hidden behind the champagne spray, there is a chilling silence. Oscar Piastri isn't just a teammate celebrating a collective victory. He is a predator waiting for the technical environment to shift. For 2 seasons, he has played the perfect soldier, the quiet apprentice who supported Woking's golden boy while meticulously refining his own lethal precision. But as we head into the 2026 revolution, the playing field is shifting from pure raw emotion to clinical software-driven strategy, a territory where Piastri is the undisputed master. The rumors from the high-security simulator rooms at the MTC are no longer whispers. They are warnings to the rest of the grid. While Norris currently wears the crown, Piastri has the blueprint for the next dynasty. This isn't just a new season of racing, it's a mission for total dominance. Today, we analyze how the 2026 regulations have been tailor-made for Piastri's robotic excellence, and why the internal war at McLaren is about to shatter the hierarchy of the sport. Engineers are describing the 2026 challengers as computers on wheels, and for a good reason. With a mandatory 50/50 split between internal combustion and electrical power, the person in the cockpit is no longer just a pilot. They are an energy architect. This is exactly where the internal hierarchy at McLaren begins to fracture. Piastri belongs to a new breed of drivers who treat the cockpit like a high-tech simulator, processing data in real time without emotional interference. His ability to manage complex software shifts, balancing massive and deployment with active aero transitions, is reportedly 15% more consistent than Norris's in early 2026 simulations. While Lando relies on his legendary, almost instinctual feel for the car's limit, the new era requires a level of tactical patience and digital precision that is alien to most. Piastri doesn't get frustrated when the car's balance shifts dynamically every millisecond. He calculates if the MCL40 is the software-defined masterpiece we expect. Piastri's natural affinity for digital complexity makes him the primary alpha, leaving the analog brilliance of his teammates struggling to find the pace. The strategic arrival of Rob Marshall from the Red Bull Empire changed the fundamental technical philosophy of McLaren, but it has unknowingly favored one specific driver profile. Marshall's approach to car balance is rooted in mechanical predictability and a stable aerodynamic platform, traits that Oscar Piastri exploits better than anyone else currently on the grid. While Norris often craves a car with a sharp, almost nervous front end that he can hurl into a corner, the 2026 aerodynamic regulations demand a much more neutral and controlled vehicle to prevent the active wings from destabilizing the rear during shifts. Piastri's input during the MCL40's development has been relentlessly focused on this neutral stability. He has worked closer with Marshall's engineering core than any other driver, ensuring the car's mechanical DNA is a mirror of his own clinical driving style. This isn't a coincidence, it's a strategic takeover. Piastri has helped forge a weapon that rewards his surgical calmness and potentially punishes the high-energy, high-risk style that brought Norris his 2025 title. The weapon is now ready, and it has been built in the image of the Iceman. In the 2026 era, the Grand Prix winner won't necessarily be the one with the fastest single lap, but the driver who masters the brutal chess game of battery management over a full race distance. This is where Piastri's Iceman persona transforms into a devastating competitive advantage. The new manual overrun system requires a driver to decide under immense G forces exactly when to unleash an extra burst of 350 kW. And more importantly, when to hoard it for a defensive stand. We have seen Lando Norris struggle when the psychological pressure reaches its peak, leading to small but season-defining tactical errors in high-stress moments. Piastri, however, functions like a biological computer. His heart rate remains famously low, allowing him to execute split-second energy deployment decisions with cold-blooded efficiency, while others will be clipping, exhausting their battery on the main straights because they panicked too early. Piastri will be stalking them with a full charge ready to strike when the math is in his favor. He is turning Formula One into a war of intellect, and in that arena he is the apex predator. Zak Brown loves to project an image of a harmonious team, but the historical walls of Woking tell a much darker story of internal ambition. The rising tension between Norris and Piastri is beginning to mirror the legendary 1988 rivalry between Senna and Alain Prost. Lando Norris is the beloved incumbent, the emotional soul of McLaren, who finally delivered the ultimate prize. Oscar Piastri is the clinical challenger who doesn't care about internal narratives, only the statistics of the history books. For 2 full seasons, Piastri has observed as Norris received the tactical priority, the prime strategies, and the halo of number 1. But the 2026 reset is his calculated moment of revenge. Sources suggest that Piastri's management, led by the shrewd Mark Webber, has already solidified equal status clauses in the contracts for the new era. If the MCL40 is as dominant as the early data suggests, Zak Brown won't be managing a brotherhood. He will be managing a nuclear explosion. Piastri has used his time in the shadow to study every one of Norris's weaknesses, and in 2026, he is ready to exploit them with a ruthlessness that will shock the fans. There is a palpable sense in the F1 paddock that the momentum has already shifted toward the younger Australian. While Lando Norris has been rightfully enjoying the perks and media obligations of a reigning world champion, Oscar Piastri has been effectively living in 2026. He has spent more grueling hours in the high-fidelity simulator than any other driver on the grid this winter, obsessing over the physics of the first race in Melbourne, his home ground. Piastri understands the psychology of dominance. He knows that if he can strike early and beat Norris in the first 3 races of the 2026 era, the mental barrier within the team will collapse. McLaren will have no objective choice but to shift their entire logistical weight to the driver who is extracting more from the more complex machine. This isn't just a quest for points. It's a cold-blooded coup d'etat within the most famous team in England. The Iceman is arriving with a level of technical preparation that the sport hasn't witnessed since the early days of Michael Schumacher. For Norris, the 2025 title might have been the grand finale of his struggle. For Piastri, it was merely the spark he needed to burn the old hierarchy down. The final hidden weapon in Piastri's 2026 arsenal is the scale. The new regulations demand a brutal 30 kg weight reduction, a target that has caused engineers from Maranello to Milton Keynes to lose sleep. However, word from the MTC is that the MCL40 is the only chassis starting the season at the absolute minimum weight limit. In a sport where every kilogram equals 0.03 seconds per lap, starting with a 10 keys at advantage over a heavy Red Bull or Audi is a massive head start. But for Piastri, this weight reduction isn't just about straight-line speed. It's about tyre life. The 2026 tyres are narrower and more sensitive to thermal degradation. Piastri's famously smooth steering inputs and analog braking style allow him to preserve the tyre's structural integrity far longer than Norris's high-energy, high-correction style. In a race where energy management is 50% of the game, having tires that don't overheat while the electrical boost is active will be the deciding factor. Piastri isn't just driving a car, he is managing a physical system. And in 2026, the physics are entirely on his side. Formula One is a sport that respects results, not reputations. Oscar Piastri has spent 2 full years in the shadows, learning, observing, and calculating for the exact moment when the technical landscape would shift in his favor. That moment is now. The 2026 revolution is his stage. With a software-defined car that rewards his surgical precision and a technical team that can no longer ignore the data on his side of the garage, the Iceman is ready to claim the throne. Lando Norris may have been the hero of 2025, but 2026 belongs to the man who doesn't need emotion to win. Are we witnessing the beginning of a Piastri era that will dominate the next decade, or can Norris evolve his style to match the digital wave? Let us know in the comments below, is Piastri the true future of McLaren, or will the internal war destroy them both? This is Formula Perspective, and the battle for the Orange Empire is just beginning. Subscribe to stay ahead of the technical war. We'll see you in the next deep dive analysis.